Hello, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the Volcus channel. So this is going to be a video where I'm going to go through some of my Blu-ray steelbooks. I'm collecting currently movies, Blu-ray movies on steelbook that just, some of my favorite movies that I definitely want to be able to watch whenever I want. And I just thought the medium of steelbooks, I love it in games, so I thought I might as well try and get steelbooks for movies that I really like as well. So I'm just going to try and go through these kind of quickly, not ramble on for too long, because this is the second time I'm recording this part, this whole video, because the first time I recorded it, I made several major screw-ups that I kind of had to redo the whole thing, so that's kind of annoying, but yeah. First of all, this is technically an exception to the rule of this video, because it's not actually a steelbook, but it is a special edition of the movie, and that is right here. That is the Blade Runner 2049 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray bonus disc, whatever version. So it comes with the movie on 4K HD, Blu-ray, and a bonus disc, which is very nice. And it also comes with some cool bonus features. We have a pretty big poster, which I'm not going to open because it's basically the this shot right here, this concept art as a poster, and it's very cool, but it would kind of take a while to unfurl just to show that. And then we also have these art cards, which by the way, if you haven't seen this movie, it's my favorite movie of all time at the moment, along with the original Blade Runner. It's my favorite all-time movie, so I really couldn't recommend it anymore if you haven't seen it. So here we have some shots of Kay with Sapper's tree, Kay and the JOI on the bridge with the Good Joe scene. I'm not going to spoil the context for this, really. I'm just going to give, this is the shot with Kay and Joy on the roof near the beginning of the movie where they kiss. This is the shot with Kay arriving in Vegas, and this is the shot with Deckard and his dog. So pretty cool little art cards here. Nice if you're a fan of the movie. And we also get this little booklet thing, which is pretty cool. It goes into details about, like the production of the movie, the director's thoughts, Ridley Scott's involvement, the casting, a lot of cool stuff, and also has some nice art in it like that, which is just direct shots from the movie, but pretty cool. So yeah, highly recommend this movie if you haven't seen it yet. It's definitely not for everyone, but I'd say if you're a big fan of sci-fi and you can appreciate slower movies, like art housey movies that, beautiful cinematography, soundtrack, acting, and everything. Basically, if you can appreciate a movie that takes its time to tell its story and doesn't compromise that much, then, highly recommend this movie. I'm going to deal with this after because they don't like going back in there. So yeah, that's the kind of the one exception here. So I did have these in alphabetical, but I'm just going to go through them in a random order because I don't think it's really going to affect the video if they're not alphabetical. But anyway, so first of all, we've got a kind of obscure movie right here. So this is the 2015 version of Macbeth, starring Michael Fassbender and Marion Cottiard as the Macbeth and Lady Macbeth. I think the main things about this movie that are so good are, because obviously I'm a big fan of the Macbeth play, but if you're not, then a lot of the stuff in this movie, like the very Shakespearean dialogue and the plot being kind of odd in parts, might turn you off. But the cinematography and the score of this movie are just unreal. Like the cinematography in this movie, there's a Filmento video where he talks about how good it is, which I'm going to link below. Because it's a good video and he's a good channel. You should subscribe to him if you haven't. But he's basically very right in the video. He talks about how good the cinematography is, and it's just stunning. And the soundtrack by Jed Kurtzel is really, really good as well. It's amazing. You definitely have to be in the mood for this movie. But if you feel like this movie could be for you, then I would definitely recommend it. It's very non-traditional adaptation. I actually thought this movie sucked when I first watched it because I was kind of hoping for a more traditional adaptation, but then I actually grew to, after taking some more time with it and watching it again, I actually grew to love this movie. So yeah, here's the inside of the steelbook. Yeah, the battle scenes are amazing as well. There's the disc. So yeah, that's the first one, Macbeth. Then we have this one right here, which is probably the simplest steelbook design I own, and that's the Jason Bourne This is the 5th movie in the Bourne franchise, and I think this is kind of a polarizing film. I personally think it was really good. Some characters from the original trilogy do return, and I'm not going to say what happens to them, but they're in the movie. Bourne is pretty good in the movie as well, and I think they did a pretty good job of having a new plot for the series. I say new, I don't mean like a new groundbreaking plot. I mean, it's not a completely boring, terrible plot or anything. But also, it has one of my favorite fights, 1v1 fights in the Bourne series, which is a big staple of the series. These pretty amazing, because the series is known for its action, pretty good 1v1 fights with a lot of creative uses of different implements as weapons and good fighting and shaky cam as well. But I think this movie was actually really good. Yeah, the Steelbook is not exactly anything to write home about, but it's nice enough. And the movie is good, so I'm hoping to get the entire Bourne series at some point. Next one we have is a pretty obscure movie. Most of you probably won't have heard of it. I only heard of it because of... Wait, how did I hear of it first? I can't actually remember how I first heard of this movie, but it might have been a Chris Tuckman video. I don't know if I watched that after I found out about the movie. I can't remember. Anyway, so this is the movie. It's called The Guest, starring Dan Stevens and Micah Monroe here. And basically, the story of this movie is that this family, they've lost their son in, I think, Afghanistan. He was killed in Afghanistan. And this guy, played by Dan Stevens, turns up and he says that he knew their son, and he's in the photos, so they believe him. And basically, his son was dying, and their son was dying, and he asked him to come and basically check on his family and tell them all that he loved them. And he ends up kind of helping each family member in their own separate problems. But then, obviously, stuff happens, and it turns out that this guy isn't quite the perfect guest that he appears at first. But I'm not going to spoil everything, because this is a really good movie. You should definitely watch it for yourself. And this isn't a movie that takes itself too seriously. It's got a lot of homage to classic kind of 80s horror vibes in it, which you'll definitely notice if you watch the movie. But yeah, you'll recognize this actor as well. He's from, recently he's been in the John Wick series. And I think this is Micah Monroe, she did a really good job in the movie as well. But yeah, definitely worth a watch, very entertaining film. And another one where the soundtrack really stands out to me. I really love the soundtrack of this movie. But yeah, there you go. So that's The Guest. Then we have another really obscure movie, and that is Only God Forgives, which stars Ryan Gosling. And this is a freaking bizarre movie. Like, if you're not into kind of non-mainstream movies where, you're basically fine with a lot of weird stuff happening and mainly focusing on the actual art of the film itself rather than a cohesive plot or a lot of action or whatever, you're going to hate this film, because this film is really, really weird. I do really like it, but I feel like it could have been a lot better than it is, but it's still really good. And it's from the director Nicholas Winding Refn, who is very well known for directing another movie with Ryan Gosling in called Drive, which we'll get to in a minute. So here it is. And as you'll notice, this kind of flowery dragon theme, it's because the movie takes place in Thailand. I'm not even going to go into the plot of the movie, but I'm just going to say, if you like art house movies that don't necessarily have cohesive plots, or, really just, you can enjoy it for how, beautiful the cinematography is, which it is really good. The music is incredible. The acting is pretty good as well. So, this is definitely not a movie for everybody, but if you feel like art house movies and things like that are kind of up your alley, then definitely try this movie out. Speaking of Drive, here it is. This is my latest addition to my collection. I actually got this today, and this is the pop art steelbook for the movie. I really love this steelbook, actually. It looks very, very nice. I'm probably going to get a couple of the other ones. I only got this version, which is usually more expensive than the standard one, because I won it on a bid on eBay, so that was pretty good. But yeah, this movie basically is about this guy, the driver, played by Ryan Gosling, who's in the day he works as a stunt driver for movies, but at night he is kind of a unique kind of driver for hire for things like getaways from crimes. And then, he meets this girl and he wants to live a normal life, but because of the stuff he's involved in, it's pretty difficult for him to do that. Yeah, this movie's amazing. But definitely, if you don't know about this movie, if you've not seen this movie and you're going to watch it, do not watch the trailer. Okay, do not. This movie has one of the worst trailers I've ever seen in my life. It spoils the whole movie. It shows all the car chases and it gives the complete wrong vibe for what the film is going to be. This isn't a super slow film, but it's a pretty slow film. And it's definitely a film that has a lot of acting and emotion and story behind it, rather than like a Fast and Furious kind of, explosion fest like the trailer makes it look. So do not go into this movie expecting that, and you should be fine. And also the jacket. He's well known for the jacket in this movie, which is this really cool jacket. I actually have it. Obviously not the original, but like I have a reproduction of it. It's pretty cool. So yeah, this is a really good movie, and the steelbook that I've got looks pretty good. So this is probably one of the more mainstream out of the movies. Okay, Jason Bourne is pretty mainstream, but this movie will probably there's probably a higher chance that you'll like this movie than some of the others that I've got so far. All right, so next let's look at this one. This is a little collection of short films for the Halo series, which you might know I'm a colossal fan of this series. It's a hit or miss thing, because some of the stories in here, like the one that's in 2 parts, which I can't remember, that basically covers the Forerunner Flood War, that one's great. The Babysitter's great. The Duel is amazing, probably the best one in here. The one with the Spartan program's pretty good. Definitely kind of a massive departure from a lot of the other stuff in the Halo series, because it's like anime, and it's very anime in parts. There are some really weird ones that are kind of bad, like this one that they're using for the cover art here. Is like, it's entertaining to watch. If you don't know about the lore, it's quite good, but if you know about the lore, you'll be scratching your head a lot and thinking, what the actual hell is going on? And then the actual, the other one in here, which I think is the actual one on the disc, is, it's like a Dragon Ball parody, and it's really weird, and it's kind of crap. But overall, I'd say this is worth... If you're a fan of Halo, definitely check this out. If not, then I guess, does short anime stories about Halo and cool sci-fi stuff sound like for you? If yes, then maybe check it out. If not, then maybe give it a miss. But obviously, as a Halo fan, I wanted to own that on Steelbook. Next, let's look at this movie. This is probably the most... Okay, no, it's not the most popular movie I have here, but, this is a very, very well-known movie, The Dark Knight, of course, which is the second in the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy. This is easily one of the most beloved superhero movies of all time, with good reason. It's an incredible movie. Basically, everything about it is just damn near perfect. All the performances, like Christian Bale, amazing. Michael Caine, amazing. Heath Ledger's Joker, easily one of the greatest performances I've ever seen. Rest in peace. It was really sad that he died right after this movie came out. He definitely would have been going to some insane places with a performance like this, but at least he is forever immortalized in this movie, which is, if you're going to go out on a performance, this is like a pretty insane performance to go out on, to put it mildly. He is easily one of the best parts of the movie. Gary Oldman, amazing. Aaron Eckhart, so underrated as Harvey Dent. He's so, so good. Maggie Gyllenhaal is pretty good as Rachel, and Morgan Freeman is also Lucius Fox, and he's Morgan Freeman, so what more needs to be said there? If you haven't seen this movie and you're in any way a fan of Batman, just watch the movie. You don't really need to have seen Batman Begins, but it helps. But either way, just watch this movie. It's incredible. Okay, so how many more? 4 more to show for now. So next we have, I'll show this one next. So this is, I said it's probably not the most popular movie, because I guess this one is. This is the original Star Wars trilogy, which, come on, there are probably more people that have seen these movies than haven't, but that might be an exaggeration, but, it's one of the most popular movie series of all time. So I'm guessing most of you watching the video have seen at least one of these. And it's a pretty cool Blu-ray steelbook, pretty cool art style here. We've got the shot of Vader with his lightsaber, which obviously isn't an actual shot from the movie. It's just a cool look here. If I had to guess, I'd say it would be from the Empire Strikes Back scene where he duels Luke on Bespin. And then this shot is, of course, the iconic duel in the throne room from Return of the Jedi. If you somehow haven't seen Star Wars, then, I mean, what are you doing? But also watch it, because the original trilogy are, you know, these are three of the best movies ever. So there you go. That is that one. I don't have the prequels yet, but I will be getting those. I will not be getting the sequels because I hate them. I actually made a video talking about that that's like over an hour long, which I might link in my description if you... Most people won't have seen that. All right. So 3 more movies. First of all, let's talk about this movie. So this is a sci-fi movie called Elysium, which is actually kind of a polarizing movie, I think. A lot of people didn't like the movie when it came out, but a lot of people do like it. This movie has great sci-fi concepts, really great weapons, like really cool effects and stuff, and the story is pretty cool. But I think one of the main draws is there's a performance, I genuinely can't remember the actor's name, but the character's name is Agent Kruger. The guy who does, he's such a legend. I've actually seen him in a couple, I think I've seen him in at least one other movie as well. I'll put his name on the screen because he deserves the recognition, but he is an absolute legend. Like, this movie is worth watching just for his performance alone. He plays the kind of main antagonist of the movie. He's so good. Like, seriously, just, you don't even have to be that interested in the idea of this movie, which is basically that in the near future, the Earth is screwed, and the top 1% have built this space station called Elysium, where they've got loads of advanced technology, like, you know, instant healing medicine devices and all that stuff. And of course, a lot of the people on Earth kind of want to go and live there as well, because they'll live lives of luxury compared to the crap hole of Earth. But getting up there is very difficult, and of course the 1% don't want people to come up there because they don't want to share their resources. It's a pretty cool film, but, you know, I think it's just 100% worth watching just for that guy's performance, because he's so good. Like, I have an in-joke with some of his lines with one of my friends who hasn't even seen the damn movie, and he still loves it. So that's how good his performance is. So yeah, definitely watch that movie just for that performance, and it's also a great movie on its own anyway. All right, so coming up we have this one. This is actually the second movie in the Guy Ritchie Sherlock Holmes series, which currently only has 2 movies, unfortunately, which has Robert Downey Jr. as Sherlock Holmes and Jude Law as Dr. Watson. And I think I really love these films. This is the second one, called A Game of Shadows. The first one is amazing as well, I just don't actually own it yet. And this is the one with Moriarty in it, and it's personally it's Jared Harris plays Moriarty. It's personally my favourite version of Moriarty on screen. I know he's not the most book accurate, but he is personally my favourite. You know, this movie has it all. It's got amazing, it's got great acting, insanely good writing, insanely good cinematography, insanely good music. This is just an overall amazing film. And the chemistry between Jude Law and Robert Downey Jr. in the movie is amazing as well. So if you're a Sherlock Holmes fan, or if you just want to see some really good movies, then check these movies out. And obviously watch this one after the first one. I just only have the second one so far. All right, so the last movie in this video is one of my favorite movies of all time, and it is The Thing from 1982 by John Carpenter. This is easily one of the greatest horror movies ever made. If you haven't seen it yet, you really need to see this. Basically, the idea is that there's this alien creature that can perfectly mimic people. And, of course, you know, these guys are in... Where are they? Are they in, like, Alaska or something? They're in this incredibly isolated, incredibly cold area that I think might be... I can't actually remember where it's set now, but that's just me being dumb. But basically, you know, they can't get any outside help, so they've got to try and figure out, you know, who's actually an assimilated copy, who's actually one of these alien creatures, and who is actually still alive. And it's so good. Like, the suspense in this movie, the acting, the music, the setting, everything about this movie is basically perfect. This is just the epitome of a 10 out of 10 horror movie. It's incredible. So anyone who hasn't seen this movie, just watch it. It's so good. As you can see as well, like, the practical effects in the movie are incredible. They used almost all practical effects, basically no CGI at all. and it's incredible. It's honestly incredible. See on the inside of the movie here, it's got Kurt Russell, so that's great as well. And yeah, this movie is absolutely incredible. I've seen Halloween. I haven't seen some of the other John Carpenter movies, but I think this is definitely his best work. It's so good. Like, Halloween is amazing as well, but this is just one of the best movies ever, in my opinion, so definitely check it out. All right, so that is all of my Blu-ray Steelbooks for now. I am constantly getting more. As I said earlier, the Drive one is actually one that I just got today. So, you know, it takes me a while sometimes to get new ones because a lot of these aren't actually very cheap because they're on Steelbook. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you did enjoy the video, drop a like, subscribe if you want. It's free. You can always change your mind later if you don't want to watch my videos anymore. And yeah, stay tuned for more content. And let me know if you've seen which of these movies you've seen in the comments, because of course most people have seen Star Wars. A lot of people have seen The Dark Knight, but you know, let me know if you are a big fan of any of these movies in the comments. And yeah, I'll probably be making some more videos about my collection of these once I get, you know, 4 or 5 more maybe. I don't know. I don't want to make it too frequently because then people will just not watch the video because they've already seen almost all of them. But yeah, enough rambling from me. Thank you for watching. Check out my other videos, and yeah, see you later.